And the police state ends with me. And we made it one more day. Now, I'm going to tell you a little something here. I just recorded an entire 15-minute video and then decided to re-record it. I just got so heated, so upset. I didn't say anything outlandish, but this stuff is so stressful. When you know that your own government is so corrupt from the top to the bottom, and the corporations and people you've known for 25 years want you dead, and they're using the Bartlesville police as hired guns, the stress, I've told you, I mean, I live second to second, knowing they can come do this again. And that's what they want. They're domestic terrorists, and that is the correct word. So I'll try not to make this 15 minutes, and I'll try not to get so upset. I want to talk today about the events in Chicago and the murder of Laquan McDonald, the 17-year-old young man, and the delay, and how this relates to the cover-up here in Bartlesville, and the cover-up in Chicago, and the cover-ups that go all over this country. We have allowed, when you don't have any accountability with police, which there's virtually zero accountability for a police officer going as far as planning and murdering you, there's still 13-month delay, an enormous attempt by the mayor, the city council, the chief of police, the president of the Fraternal Order of Police in Chicago, the district attorney's office, and many others to cover it up. But if it wasn't for one person, the judge, one courageous person, one courageous judge, way to go, demanded the release of the tape. Then the DA got up on, for some reason, told the media that the only reason why I charged him is because they were releasing the video. That was smart. But this cover-up was broken by one person. Sometimes one person can make a difference. Now, granted, this was a judge in a high-powered position, but props to that judge for demanding the release of this video. But still, it could be a sham, this first-degree murder charge, because that's going to be very, very hard to prove. When he jumped out of the car, and with 6 seconds out of the car, he shot that young man, 17-year-old young man. That's 6 seconds. You've got to prove he had a plan to do it. And they're still covering up because they're refusing to release the audio from the cars as they were driving up to the scene, which was several minutes of discussion between officers. So if they were discussing killing this kid, then wow, they can prove murder one. But if the police and the city continue like they are today, still refusing to release that, now going to have to go to court again, and going to have another judge demand that release, or they maybe already deleted it, like they deleted that Burger King. They went into the Burger King there and deleted video footage from other angles right after the murder. And the city paid the family $5 million, and in all those civil cases like that, they have a hush clause in there. So the family's up there telling the media, oh, we don't want this, we don't want the video released. Well, that's not what they really mean. They can't say they want it released, or they have to give the money back. It's a hush clause. So don't believe that. They're forced to say that, or they have to give the $5 million back. That's what happens. That's how these things get covered up, is they take taxpayer money and they pay people and tell them, well, if you take the money, you can't talk about this. You can't say you want us to suffer. You want a criminal investigation. You have to be quiet, or you got to give the money back. And that's illegal in civil matters. Shouldn't be, but it is. I mean, that's just criminal cover-up. But now there's calls for the resignation of the mayor, and there's calls for resignation of the chief of police and Fraternal Order of Police and the DA, because things like the president of the Fraternal Order of Police was on video right after the murder, telling the media that he witnessed on the video of the incident, the dash cam video of the guy lunging at the officer with a knife, and that's why he was shot. And that's a complete and total lie. And these people are in political positions, not just jobs, and not just black and white issues of did what they say can be proven in court as wrong. No, these are political matters. These are political positions. And they don't, I mean, what do the people want? Do the people want that elected official, that mayor, a lying piece of scum that tried to cover this up for 13 months? Do they want them in office? No. Why would you? You know they're liars. Why would you want someone there you can't trust? I mean, most people know that, the definition of politics is the art of deception. And so most people don't trust politicians, but you still can't be so blatant as to know you can't trust them. I mean, they can't be so blatant as to lie right to your face. And in the past 5 years, 97% of complaints, tens of thousands of officer complaints in the past 5 years in Chicago. In the past 1 year, it's been 99% of the complaints have been thrown out. And you got a chief of police up there overseeing that. Do you want that? I mean, do you want that chief of police in that position? He's out of control. He's letting his officers go around and murder people and trying to cover it up and throwing out 99% of them. 99% in the past year and 97% in the past 5 years have not, tens of thousands of complaints against officers have been completely thrown out. No accountability, no discipline whatsoever. No wonder why they think they can get away with murder, because they can. Let's not pretend that this first-degree murder charge is nothing but isn't anything but a sham. And I'm very stressed today, and it's a holiday. It's Thanksgiving, and so I should just try to cut this short. I've already gone long enough, and I just bring it back to when the police and district attorneys in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, in Chicago say they're investigating, all they're really doing is a careful and concise cover up and delay. But these people are psychopaths. They don't think the way you and I do. They don't think like a normal person. They're bold. They're so bold they believe that they can tell a lie and get away with it, and eventually they get caught. Sometimes they mess up their cover-ups, like they did in Chicago. They're covering up here in Bartlesville too. They've probably done this to 100 people in Bartlesville. This is the first time somebody's been willing to stand up like I'm doing so strongly and make these videos, hundreds of videos, going into hundreds now, and many hours of these things, explaining what happened, why it's wrong, and continuing to watch and see other things they're doing, like lawsuits and things like that exist right now against the city and, well, the police officers anyway. And the things that they're out there doing, like breaking legs and breaking eye sockets and running over people with their unarmed people with their cars, and you don't know about that because the media doesn't want to report on that. And you need to Google it. Like I said, some of these things, or maybe I said it in the previous video I recorded, but either way, I'm saying it now. Some of these things are on websites that have told me to not comment on their websites, and so I can't bring them forward because of copyright. But you can Google it. Just Google Bartlesville police sued, Google Bartlesville police broken eye socket, Google things like that. You'll see the evidence. It's all there. And if you have a question, private message me. If I can point you to something and not be sued for copyright infringement, I will. Because these people are out, they're out to shut me up in any way they possibly can, and they're not going to. And like I said, you can tell I'm very stressed today. I'm stressed every day on this, and I've obviously shown I can't do these off-the-cuff videos. I'll have to continue to go with my notes. But all these investigations is careful time delay and cover up, or planting evidence, or taking bribes from like Jane Phillips Medical Center, like the police apparently are doing allegedly, and just doing everything they can to terrorize a citizen like me. I mean, to me it's obvious. I've been communicating this for months now in this fashion through these videos, and I've gotten so few non-anonymous direct comments that are anything other than "shut up, you're a liar, we don't want to believe you" crap. I haven't gotten any actual communication, really. Things like, "Oh, stop communicating, you're going overboard." Things like that. Things that are just political in nature and very subjective. I haven't gotten anything back of, "Well, I have a question about this. How did this happen?" or "What's this?" And not out in the open. I've gotten a few of those private messages, and people actually come into the house privately and asking those questions and asking me not to divulge who they are because they're scared. But that shows you something. You know, other than the people like apparently siblings, spouses, and even parents of the Bartlesville police officers flaming emails and messages and a few comments of "shut up, we don't believe you, they're good people," people who of course want to believe that but also know that there's problems, trying to organize things, people trying to say I haven't already discussed about how this has continued month after month. There's tons of videos of me explaining that. I'm not going to go back over it. And I'm just going to stop today. I'm just going to end, and show, obviously I can't do these off-the-cuff things. I ramble on too long and I don't really communicate well. So I'll go back to my notes tomorrow. But whether it's in Chicago, the police, the mayor, all these people covering up, or it's down here in Bartlesville, we have a system set up where these people think that they're not personally accountable. I'm here to tell you, you are personally accountable. You think that you can just walk away from the legal matters. Well, you can go too far to where you will eventually be held personally accountable, whether it's socially or it's politically or it's legally. Just because you can corner the market and say, well, I've got all my corrupt buddies, from the corporations to the police to the city council to the mayor to the chief of police to the district attorney's office to the courts and the Judge Vac laws, just because they're all corrupt and they're all my buddies, I'm sure I can get away with it. Let's find out. Let's see. Like I said, a year from now, today, 20 years from now, you're going to get held accountable. You just don't think so yet. You just think that it's just me talking out and eventually you'll shut me up. But like I said right from the very beginning, we go back to this, why I think they're going to end up killing me. Do you think if or when you kill me that that's going to shut it up? Good luck. The police state ends with me. And with that said, I'll see you tomorrow.